All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? I am Is There No One Else, and the video I'm bringing you today, I wanted to talk about class identity because it looks like that's what's going to be discussed for the next couple patches. They came out with an article a while back, basically saying that they're going to go through different class skills and ability audits, and they want to give identity to each one of their classes. As we've seen, StamSorc, StamDK, and Stamina Warden have all gotten some overhauls as far as their identity goes, as far as like what things they provide. And I don't want to dance around the bushes on this, so I'm just going to get straight to the point. I do feel like they missed their mark with the StamDK spammable. And it's not because it's bad, okay? Like, I already posted a video on this, and I'll provide a link in the description. I honestly think Stone Giant is actually a pretty decent spammable, guys. I mean, people are going to look at it, and they're going to be like, oh, 3,100 cost. Keep in mind, guys, with the Helping Hands passive, when you cast an Earth and Heart ability, you restore 990 stamina. It's not that expensive when you take into account the passive that you get when you hit this. So it's only, 2,100. So counting the passive, so it's really not a bad spammable at the end of the day. It does good damage. Like I've shown you, it weaves really well. There's nothing wrong with this as a spammable. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being able to wind up a D-swing and then hit with a rock. Now, the problem with it is twofold. First of all, the animation, I mean, it's just not very good. Let's just be honest. The animation's not very good. And the other thing is no matter what they did with this, guys, and you'd see my tooltip on this is actually pretty solid. No matter what they did with this, guys, it was always going to be underwhelming to the ESO community. It was always going to be this way. And the reason that is, guys, is because if we look at Nightblades, right? If we look at Nightblade spammables, we have Concealed Weapon and Surprise Attack. If we look at their burst damage, we have Relentless Focus and Merciless Resolve. If we look at their ultimate, they have Incap and Soul Harvest. If we look at their execute, we have Killer's Blade and damn it, I can't remember the name of it. But you have Stamina and Magicka morphs for spammables, burst abilities, ultimates, and executes on Nightblades. If we look at Wardens, you have a Stamina and Magicka version of Beetles, of Birds, of your Dot now, and your Blue Betty. And you have Stamina versions of Heals with your Soothing Spores. And so when you look at a Stamina class, your identity is being able to go, okay, well, I can do what a Magicka Warden can, but I have Stamina morphs of it. If we look at a DK, we have Venomous Claw, which is the other morph of Burning Embers. We have Noxious Breath, which is the other morph of Burning Breath. So we have Stamina and Magicka morphs here. Sorcs, we don't have that. That's what I've talked about a million times with StamSorcs. But if you look at Necros, it's the exact same way, guys. Blast Bones, Flame Skull. There's two different forms of the vulnerability alt. One that does Magicka, one that does that's more stamina based. There's all of these different things, guys. Just about every class has some sort of stamina morph. I can go on Templars, Puncturing Sweeps, Biting Jabs, Purifying Light, Power the Light. There's literal stamina and Magicka morphs of all of these abilities. And for some reason, they just decided that Lava Whip is not going to be the DK spammable. I mean, this is the no-brainer class identity spammable for Dragon Knights. I really shouldn't have to say any farther than this. Like everybody's been clamoring for a Stamina Whip for a long time. And if you go and read the forums, ESO and ZeniMax have come out and said, like, hey, we want to do something more creative than Lava Whip. How? How are you going to get more creative than literally slinging a Molten Whip that looks like fucking Balrog taking down Gandalf? How are you going to get more badass than this? But you're not. I'm sorry. Like I get it. There's a lot of creative people over at ESO and ZeniMax and all that. And they come up with some good stuff. But you're not going to top Lava Whip. I'm sorry. You're just not going to. You're not going to top Lava Whip as a spammable. You can try no matter how hard you try. You will not come up with a spammable that's going to get people to go, oh wow, yeah, that's totally better than Lava Whip. No, it's just not going to happen. People Classes want class. I mean, you want to do class identity. All you have to do is keep it simple. Lava Whip or Molten Whip is class identity for Dragon Knights. Just give a Stamina Morph, and it's done. It's literally done. Like, that's all you had to do. And so if you came out and the patch notes said, hey, we're giving you a Stam Whip, you know how many people would have lost their fucking mind? Like, how many DKs would have just been so happy that they finally got a Stam Whip? You know what I've never heard in my years of playing this game is a DK going, you know what, Stam Whip? No, guys, I don't want it. You know, I'm happy with my cast time on D-Swing. I would never use Stam Whip. I have never fucking heard that, guys. You know why? Because everybody wants fucking Stam Whip. I don't even main Stam DK. I want Stam Whip, okay? Everybody wants Stam Whip. People want to get hit by Stam Whip. People just want to be around Stam Whip, okay? They just want to be in the vicinity of somebody just whipping the shit out of somebody with this green fucking whip and just destroying their life. Now, why does this make sense? First of all, for multiple reasons, you then create this skill line to where your spammable is the same thing across the board. You know, so when you have new players to the game, they know, hey, if I want to do a stamina class, I have a stamina whip. I have stamina dots. I have all these stamina things that I can use. When you go and you give this Magicka Morph, and then you give it 2 Magicka Morphs, and now all of a sudden one of these is a CC that heals you, and the other one is a spammable, that's really confusing for new players. You know, this is, like, you shouldn't have to, like, bounce around to try and figure this out, you know, in my opinion. This isn't bad. Like I said, guys, this is not bad. I'm not saying that this is bad. I will definitely be using this. I'm just stating that this misses the mark because you've already set a standard for all of your other spammables, all of your other burst abilities. Like, everything else has a stamina and Magicka Morph. All you had to do is put the spammable right here, which is literally what everybody wanted. Now, maybe I'm crazy, guys, but I mean, the most popular game out there right now is Fortnite, and they have, like, all these different costumes you can have, and it's just people requesting it. Like, they just want to have whatever, and Fortnite's like, yeah, fuck it, go ahead, have it. And people were like, oh, yes, I love this game, this is great. I mean, far be it from me to just come out and say, like, hey, you know, maybe we should just give the players what they want, but at the end of the day, guys, this could have just been way easier, in my opinion. And and I'm not saying it because, like I said, I actually am I'm probably one of the few people that actually thinks that Stone Giant is decent. But you had whip right here. You had it right here. You know, it's just like, you know, it's like you're playing beer league softball and somebody just serves up like the perfect, like, the swing right in your wheelhouse, right? And, you know, you hit a hard single, you know, down the first base line, and it's whatever. But 9 times out of 10, you crank a home run. You know, this should have been just an easy home run, and it just isn't. And it's too bad because that's literally all they needed to do. That's all the class identity Stam DK needed. Like, you could have done this. You could have given a Stamina Morph of Dragon Knight Standard. Hell, you didn't even have to do that because they already have Take Flight. You know, you didn't have to do that. You just do Stam Whip and it's done. And and that's my point, guys, is when you want to do class identity, in my opinion, you just keep it simple. So Stam Sorks, guess what? Okay, well, we have Curse, we have Mage's Wrath, we have all these other things. Guess what? We are going to do, you know, Thunderous Crash, you know, or Thunderous Wrath or whatever. You punch the fucking ground and Earth comes out and it hits somebody at their feet doing physical damage, and if they drop to low health, it's an execute. It's not crazy. It's no different than summoning a lightning bolt from the sky. You're just stamina. You're hitting the ground and it's coming up underneath their feet. You now have a stamina-based execute for Stam Sorks. You could do a Stam Curse, and you could have it do physical damage. There's so many different things, and I don't want to dive into Stam Sork too much because I'm going to go back to Stam DK. But the other reason you do Lava Whip, guys, the other reason you do a Poison Morph of Lava Whip, is there are some really cool sets that do poison damage. I'm looking at Swamp Raider. Okay, so Swamp Raider is actually a really nice set, you know, but it's really tough to run Swamp Raider on just about any class because it's really tough to find abilities that work really well and do poison damage. DK comes close. DK comes close with Venomous Claw and Noxious Breath. Okay, so if they all of a sudden change Lava Whip to be poison based, and they changed Take Flight to also be poison based, you would now have all of these things that would synergize with poison abilities. You could then run something pretty cool like Swamp Raider, and you would be the only class that could really pull it off. And now all of a sudden you have build diversity because you're not running Bone Pirate and Spriggans. You're running Swamp Raider. You know, boom, there's your class diversity. There's your build diversity. It's taken care of. All because you just synergized a couple things and you said, you know what? Magic DKs are fire. Stam DKs are poison. That's what we're going to do. Stam Sorks are magic damage. Magicasorks are magic damage. Stamina Sorks are physical damage. That way they can use Automaton. They already have that already. They already have that kind of built in. And now it apparently looks like they're going to make Wardens the bleed damage class with birds. But those are the types of synergies you can kind of do with these classes. And that's how easy this could have been done. And so I'm going to leave this video here because I I got a little pumped up there. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts, of course. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people are really ecstatic about Stone Giant. I just honestly haven't seen it. I'm one of the few that actually thinks it's good. Like I'm one of the few that's like, yeah, this is definitely going to make it on my bar because this actually does a good amount of damage. And other people are just literally laughing at it. So what do you guys think? I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.